everyone, this is Brittany here with your art fill of the week, and this week I am painting What the Library Hides by Isabel. Ibanez, I think is how you pronounce it. This is the sequel to the previous book I painted, which was What the River Knows. And it takes place in Egypt, about a girl named Ibanez who her parents may or may not be dead based on everyone saying they are, and they were this couple who did archaeological digs in Egypt and were famous for finding artifacts, and these artifacts in this book are actually magical. They're based on like real Egyptian artifacts, but there's like a magical twist to them. So I really enjoyed the first book. The second one kind of took a backseat to those, like the archaeology and like the discovery of these artifacts, which was the most interesting part, I think, for me. I wasn't super into the romance or anything because these are like teenagers, so it's kind of, I'm a little too old to care about teenage love. But so this second book was good. It just wasn't, it didn't have as much of a almost like Indiana Jones type feel with looking for different artifacts. And so I kind of like, maybe like the first half of this second book, I was kind of just going through the motions of getting through it, and then there were a few places that we gotta go that were more of a historical places that I could then look up, like Alexandria, and that's where I took my inspiration for this cover, because if you've seen the first video, which I recommend you go see if you haven't seen it yet, the first video I did like an obelisk kind of scene with a river in front of it. And for this one, small spoiler if you don't want to know anything about the book, they go to the lighthouse of Alexandria. So I decided to put the lighthouse on the front, and then this side hieroglyphics, I did this with the first one as well. I decided to spell out library, and the first one I spelled out river. So I had to do a few different hieroglyphics this time, and I kind of made them as simple symbols as I could, because that very first L is supposed to be a lion, but there's only so much detail you can add when you're trying to do this. Like, I would have had to have like the finest point brush, and I'm doing it on book pages. Also, this current one you're looking at was an eagle, so I kind of made it more simplistic of an eagle from the side. So just to get the idea that that's what these symbols are supposed to be, and overall I can tell what they're supposed to be, and the idea is there for that page, the pages. And then I decided just to add some design flair like I did on the previous book with a triangle type pattern. I also tried to keep with the colors that are on the front cover of the book. And then, as always, once I get this part finished and dried, I then have to peel each page apart carefully so that I can actually open and read my book after I've painted the pages. And here I am now starting on that lighthouse of Alexandria. I looked up different reference photos and tried my best to create almost a cartoonish rendition of this lighthouse, going off of like the historical sketches they have and different photos of the current lighthouse and how it is today. So I did my best. I didn't think it turned out as much as I liked my first book, which I guess kind of works out because I didn't super enjoy the second book as much. But I tried my best at this architecture. It was a very odd architecture style, and I don't know what you'd actually call that architectural style besides Egyptian or the Alexandrian architecture for that historical city. But it was, I don't know, it just seemed like something I haven't been used to painting or drawing. So it was a little difficult to kind of get the details from a distance kind of deal, but I kind of went with my instincts for painting for theater, scenic painting, and from further away, if it looks like that building, then people are just gonna know that that's what that building is supposed to be. So that's what I went with starting out on that front cover, and then because I wanted to get started on that the spine of the book, I did a base coat of that pretty blue. I really love this blue, which I'm kind of biased because blue is my favorite color. So I went ahead and turned the book and just started that base coat so it could be dry by the time I wanted to do lettering on the spine. So here I'm going in with a darker brown to bring out kind of there were almost filigree type looking things around the lighthouse on parts of the building that I tried to mimic from a distance with that darker brown. And then also the tip of the lighthouse, I didn't exactly get accurate because there's a statue at the top and then it kind of goes to more of a point, but I kind of ran out of space on the top of my book, so the way it ended up is the way it ended up, and I just tried to add in shadows and stuff as much as I could to make that structure of the lighthouse stand out. And here is where I start putting that title lettering on the spine. And I kind of just went with doing block capital letters on the side. And you'll see a cut when I get to library because I started spelling library wrong. And then I had to smooge it off and spell it correctly. So I had to go in and fix that later because when I do the little red line design later, I kind of cover that smooge a little bit. But I guess from now on I need to really focus on what I'm spelling. Apparently library is hard for my brain to just spell automatically. So these lines, I just kind of add that same triangle design to be cohesive with those book pages that I painted. And then I finish this off with putting Mod Podge over all the painted areas so that when I am actually reading this book, I won't smudge off that paint. It's perfectly sealed. And this is my personal special edition of Where the Library Hides. If you haven't checked out the first one, go ahead and check out that video. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint my book, and subscribe for more videos like this, and also please leave a like so that other people can find this video, and thank you so much for watching.